Well, I'm back. I'm back because, you know what? I'm a busy guy. For those of you that don't know who I am, I'm Satan, sometimes called, formerly called Lucifer, the devil.
Beelzebub.
What's that?
Beelzebub.
Yeah, you know, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman over here likes to call me Beelzebub. The name is actually Beelzebub.
Beelzebub.
But he calls me Beelzebub to make me sound like a freaking weasel or something like that, you know?
Well, it's I think it's a takeoff on Beetlejuice.
How's my car, Les? Is it more like is it more Dracula-like this way?
Ming the Merciless.
Ming the Merciless.
Yeah.
I love that guy. That was
I'm sure you would.
Back in the 30s, right?
Yeah, back in the day.
Now, you people are wondering why I dropped in again here at the newsletter.
By the way, how did you arrive here?
This guy loves to interrupt. Go ahead.
How did you arrive here? In your helicopter?
Yeah, I landed on the newsletter-censored heliport. Get it? Heliport?
Funny.
Even Satan's got a sense of humor. Anyway, you're wondering why I dropped in.
Yeah, why
I landed in the heliport this time. I'm a busy entity, evil spirit, the king of all evil spirits. I'm busy, and you know what? I got my hands full, you know, figuratively, with this thorn in my side, which is popular, is known as the Occupy Wall Street movement.
Wow.
To me, it's more like a bowel movement because it really stinks. Because I'm trying to work with my greedy, evil minions on Earth, the right-wing fundamentalists, phony baloney, conservative Republicans. I'm trying to work with them. And all of a sudden, these college students, multitudes of college students, and now the unions joined them, they decide to march and protest on Wall Street. Now, luckily, that little stooge, that little guy with the Napoleonic complex, the greedy corporatist billionaire, Michael Bloomberg, he tried to pull a little fascism on him, and he's still doing it. He's supposed to clean out those protesters, right?
Yeah.
He's supposed to chase them out based on something that's anti-constitutional, anti-First Amendment, saying that they're creating unsanitary conditions at what is it, Broccoli Park? Zucchini Park? Zuccotti Park. Okay.
By the way, may I you
know what I mean? They're slowing down my progress. Here I'm trying to wreak havoc with greed, working through the Republican Party. I already have my darling over there getting fatter and fatter, Chris Christie, governor of New Jersey. You know what I'm saying? He's a glutton, obviously. He's mean-spirited. He has no compassion for the poor. He's a big fat pub after my own heart. I'm sorry. What are we going to say?
I was going to say,
Dr. Bill,
Bloomberg's girlfriend is on the board.
Is much taller than him? Oh.
Is on the board of Zuccotti people who own the park.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So do you think that might have some sort of connection why Mr. Bloomberg would like them out of there?
So he's got this rich socialite debutante bitch, chicky poo of a girlfriend who obviously can care less about the economy and the poor and mainstream America having a job and being happy. Yeah. So, you know, hey, I never met her. Maybe I should send some demons to influence her and make her more wicked.
She's already influenced. Maybe somebody's working on it.
Maybe some of my boys, exactly. Some of my boys are working on Bloomberg's girlfriend.
Check out on it. You know, check it out.
His freak of the week, his hooch. But you know, I gotta look into it. So, I mean, yeah, I agree. It's unconstitutional to chase out the protesters as long as they're protesting peacefully. But you know what? They're a thorn in my side because they're exposing my shenanigans for what they really are. And they're gaining popularity now in more major cities of the United States, which I don't like because it gives me more work. I have to connive and wheel and deal and fight this. You know, I represent the forces of evil. Now,
the 1%.
Yeah. You know, I still got
the 9 Republican candidates.
Yeah, I still got that douchebag, that idiot, the bubblehead Michelle Bachmann, who's preaching religion now. You know.
Yeah, but old Herman Cain is on top now.
Oh, he is?
Moving up, yeah. Moving up. He's 999.
999 666. She's 666. Michelle Bachmann. Oh, you're so funny, Michelle Bachmann. But anyway, you know they're stupid, so they're easy for me to influence. Michelle Bachmann, that stupid red state hick, Rick Perry, the racist Perry. Of course, Basil Marceau is out of the picture, but he was the easiest to manipulate. Then you got Sarah Nailing Palin, the slut, who likes to get that deep down. Her and Christine O'Donnell probably like to get reamed every chance they get, and then they're coming across as being, you know, very ultra puritanical and conservative and anti-sexuality. But beware of the people who talk the most shit. They have the most skeletons in their closets. Remember that. So it's like, you know,
it's easy for them to decorate for Halloween.
I call them my beloved conservative coven of witches. I hold them near and dear to my heart. They're like my own personal harem.
You actually have a heart?
No, my heart. No, it's not the heart yet. It's a heart made of stone. You know.
Okay.
You know. So anyway, it doesn't really beat. It's cold-hearted. You know, like Chris Christie. Yeah. You know, he's got money for big business, but he doesn't have money for soup kitchens and food pantries and the poor and. You know what? That's why I love him. He's more gluttonous than ever. He's getting fatter. By the way, Dr. Bill, I watched supposedly former, yeah, well, he is. What I'm getting at is I watched former President of the United States, Democrat President Bill Clinton was on the David Letterman show this past week. And, you know, I think I'm getting to him, too, because he sounded very moderate and very corporatist on the David Letterman show.
I think you got to him back in the 90s.
He was criticizing and putting down the Occupy Wall Street protesters and defending a little bit here and there Michael Bloomberg and the police. And he actually came out and said, you know, he said the Occupy Wall Street protesters, the problem with them is that they're only against something, but they're really not for anything, which to be between me and you is a lie.
Well, I thought they were for the 99%.
Well, then how come Clinton, who is supposed to be, him and his wife are supposedly anytime they campaigned on a progressive liberal platform.
Yeah.
All of a sudden he's being interviewed and he's playing defense. He's Mr. Moderate, leaning a little bit. he didn't sound liberal at all on the David Letterman show.
Yeah, a liberal would not have changed the welfare as we know it back in the 90s with the Republicans. He would not have allowed Bleach Liley Graham.
What the fuck is that?
To get rid of Glass-Steagall Act, etc. He wouldn't have done any of those things. But he did.
But he did it. He did it, you know. And
he was a Republican president.
Yeah. He's like, he's a businessman. His wife, Hillary Clinton, she's not so progressive liberal either, because if she was in Africa trying to talk African farmers into buying Monsanto seeds, the genetically modified sterile seeds, she can't be that progressive and liberal. But she's a Democrat, but that's very corporatist and very conservative to me. And, and then also Jesse Ventura's people said that Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton were seen attending a Bilderberg meeting. And that doesn't sound very progressive liberal either. No. So, you know what I mean? That my boys must have gotten to them, because there's a lot more Democrats who are turning wicked and greedy, evil corporatists than I originally thought. So, I mean, but it's funny when they run as progressive liberals. So, which means they're lying to the idiots out there, the boobs, all these pusillanimous, pipsqueak American voters. These lemmings are idiots, especially the middle class that voted for a Republican Congress last November. What a bunch of dopes. But I love dopes because they're easy for me to manipulate. They're easy for Satan to manipulate. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what's going on. Otherwise, how you been feeling lately? Good. I'm sorry to hear that.
Weather's a little cool. Yeah,
I'm sorry to hear that. Maybe I got to throw a little influenza at you or something,
No. And I don't get no stinking flu shot either.
Oh, I love the flu shots that all these greedy pharmaceutical companies are pushing. Yeah. And making the Walgreens and all these stores, Walmart pushing these.
What is it, $29.95 or something?
All these vaccines that people don't really need. That does them more harm than good in the long run, probably.
Yeah.
I love it. And people get suckered into getting the flu vaccine because of fear, because of propaganda. I love it. Oh, man. So, what else is cooking with you? Anything is you? I hope that, hey, I noticed that your buddy, James P. Madonna, put some of your censored readings on the internet on a video slideshow. I think one of them is "Listen, Little Man and Woman," and the other one.
I didn't listen to that one yet.
The other one is "This Country Was Never a Christian Nation," which happens to be true.
And the Devil's Economics.
I knew there was a reason. Don't interrupt me, Jabron. There's a reason why I'm always bringing this subject up. I want to thank James P. Madonna.
Oh boy.
For putting the title "The Devil's Economics" on one of those beloved shows. Naming something after me, really touches my stone cold heart. So anyway, the sound was excellent. You came across loud and clear, and of course it goes from a sample front cover photo of your newsletter, the stinking fucking newsletter. That oh my God.
To my picture, yeah.
To your picture, yeah. And you look like I don't know, Indiana Jones or something. You got some fancy hat on. You're clean shaven.
Yeah, I should have a bullwhip.
Your shirt is open a little.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Little chest, showing a little chest.
A little chest. Maybe you should have got a toupee to look like Billy Morrow. You should have got a chest hair toupee. They used to sell those stupid things back in the 70s. They used to be on the back of, wrestling magazines and crazy stuff, you know. But anyway, so this is it. Occupy Wall Street is a thorn in my side. It's really making my job more difficult. And hopefully I can convince more Republican politicians to disregard the First Amendment and to become more fascist. And to...
That should be easy.
Yeah. And, you know, a lot of these protesters from college, they're really a bunch of namby-pambies. You know, they're college kids. They're like, you know, you got these hippie chicks and everything, like the ones that got maced. And, you know,
the ones that were dancing.
They're really not militant. They're not trained militia people, and they don't have enough numbers to really count. So therefore, I really don't have anything to worry about right now with Occupy Wall Street.
Yeah, well, the cops were after them last night.
Yeah, I was too busy to notice. What happened?
I think some people got arrested.
Yeah?
Yeah. So,
Well,
and the cops looked like, the picture on the newspaper this morning, the cop looked like he was pretty rambunctious.
You mean borderline police brutality?
I believe he had somebody's neck
choke
in a chokehold like that.
Chokehold?
Something like that.
Yeah, you see these people working for the establishment, I mean working for the government, law enforcement, or maybe National Guard, they forget where they came from. They forget that they too came from a middle class family or perhaps a poor family. And you know, but you know what? How far? I expected the people to, you know, to do that. I mean, you know, how much could you abuse somebody before they can't take it anymore? So I expected that. Oh, I noticed on TMZ they ran into Eddie Munster or Butch Patrick, and he said that the Munsters were monsters that were people in the disguise of monsters, and the Addams Family were monsters in the disguise of people. That's how he explained it. But anyway, they were a little too nice for me, you know. A little too namby-pamby, little too family-oriented, those shows, you know. I like more of the hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
You know, of course I don't like the ones involving exorcism because that means chasing my boys, keeping them from doing their job. So, yeah. But anyway, at least I got... Well, who does the Republican Party really like now? Besides Chris Christie?
Right now, Herman Cain and Mitt Romney.
Oh, that dope.
Yeah.
Mitt Romney. Oh, yeah, he really criticized the Occupy Wall Street protesters.
Did he?
Yeah, he called them... he said they were guilty of instigating class warfare or they're unpatriotic or whatever. But, you know... In reality...
Well, obeying the First Amendment is being unpatriotic.
Yeah, well, I suppose... Yeah, well, you know what? You know, it's unpatriotic doesn't matter to me because the Republicans are behind outsourcing jobs and the rich not paying any taxes. So, in a sense, that's unpatriotic.
Oh, absolutely.
And the conservatives and the rich have... implemented class warfare many years ago, probably decades ago. They always hated the poor. So, you know, it's like nobody's guilty here. I mean, everybody's guilty. Like, no one has any, you know, I mean, the little guy, like I said before, has a right to start class warfare. You know, it's only befitting.
What's the old saying? Something about he's been shit on so much, so, you know, about time he fights back, no? The little guy.
Yeah. Well, I remember what Scotty...
He has justification.
I remember what Scotty said on Star Trek. A fool me once, shame on me.
Fool me twice,
I'm
shame
sorry.
on you.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Yeah, I remember that.
George W. Bush tried to say that once, but he never got it out.
He never got it out.
No.
Another guy that was easy to manipulate. I love these conservative dopes, these greedy dopes. But my favorite demon in the form of a human being it's got to be Chris Christie because he's the most obnoxious. he doesn't give people a chance to, to give their opinions and challenge him. So, I like that. He's a bullhead.
Mitt Romney might choose him as vice president.
Running mate?
Yeah, because
Really?
Christie endorsed Mitt Romney the other day.
Ah, interesting.
Possible.
Possibility. Well, you know what? Like I said before, the last time I was here, Satan is campaigning for conservative Republicans in 2012. He's throwing his pitchfork in, and right now, and then he is admitting that he's behind right-wing fundamentalists, phony, counterfeit Christian, conservative Republicans. All right. So anyway, I gotta go. I'm a busy man. You see how long you've kept me? You're pain in the ass.
Oh, jeez.
I know I'm the one that dropped in from my heliport, my helicopter landing on the heliport.
Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
But anyway,
we got it.
I gotta go. Bye.
So long. And don't let the door hit in your ass on your way out.
Oh, sorry about that. I was late again. So I heard from your people here when I arrived, that Satan showed up again.
Satan was here again, spouting his
What
right-wing crap.
Right-wing crap?
Yeah.
So what was bugging him? What was his main reason?
Occupy Wall Street. The kids over there.
Oh.
The unions.
Getting roughed up by the fascists?
Yeah.
I kind of thought that's what was on his mind. I'm sorry. I'm James P. Madonna of Mega Life 21, the hardest hitting internet talk radio station on the planet, and I have just arrived, better late than never, at the Newsletter Censored Research Center in northeastern New Jersey, and I'm here with my co-host and mentor, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. It happens to be Saturday, October 15th, 2011, and it's very windy outside, but it is warm for now. But it's a nice temperature, low 60s in the day. What is it, upper 50s at night?
So far.
It's autumn. The leaves are just starting to change. And check out my new video with my potted Caribbean hot pepper plant. I call it.
It looks like marijuana.
No, the leaves are very different. It's called Potted Pepper Plants Perfected on YouTube. And then there's a part that says Columbus Day Demonized, where I give my real, true opinion on Columbus Day. Well, you check it out. Now, I just want to say, shame on you. And this one comment that I'm going to make is tied into my question to you. And Valley National Bank, from what I hear from my people, is still charging overdraft fees. And also Bank of America is sending out letters warning people about the fact that they could be hit with overdraft fees. I thought Obama passed some kind of a federal law nationwide to prevent overdrafts from taking place with these greedy scumbag banks.
The law hasn't gone into effect yet. That's why they're doing it.
It hasn't?
Whatever they're doing, that's why they're doing it.
Well, when the hell is it going to go into effect?
Parts of the health care don't go into effect till 2014.
Oh, for God's sakes. Really?
Yeah.
So what does that mean? If Obama does not get reelected and the Republicans take over Washington, they could reverse that?
Absolutely.
And people would be ripped off once again by American banks with overdraft fees? Well, last week I mentioned that Bank of America wants to charge a $5 per month fee to have a debit card starting 2012. They suck. I hate banks.
People have to vote with their feet. They have to get out of the big banks. Get into the credit unions. Get into the smaller
savings
banks.
And loans?
Savings and loans. Yeah.
Anyway, it's really horrible. I mean, this is me imported Blackthorn Irish Shillelagh. It has a political significance, but I enjoy it. It helps me emphasize certain things. Anyway, God willing, we still have the D2W Pro Wrestling TV taping October 22nd at the Wallkill Valley High School in Hamburg, New Jersey, and my partner in crime, so to speak, Mr. Erwin Benz of Benzie Promotions will be joining me to do color commentary, and possibly, if he can make it, possibly a Pro Wrestling Hall of Famer, Irish Davey O'Hannon, will be our special guest color commentator to help us. Anyway, first article of the week for progressive discussions.
Republican presidential candidate Herman Cain's proposed a 9 tax plan would shift the tax burden in the United States, raising taxes on the poor while cutting taxes for the wealthy.
What else is new?
Surprise, surprise.
What is his logic for doing such a thing? What is his reason?
His logic is to tell you that that's incorrect. That's incorrect.
What makes him? What puts in his mind that mainstream America is going to vote for him if he's going to screw over mainstream America?
Lying. Lie about it. How the hell do you think Republicans get in there in the first place?
Excuse me, I'm not urinating. I'm pouring my antioxidant-rich tea. So the lie is that trickle-down economics bullshit, that cutting taxes creates jobs in America. Is that the lie?
Absolutely.
So they're still going with the same old lie?
Well, you're cutting down the taxes for the rich, supposedly, right now is 35%.
Oh, poor babies.
But they get away with, like Warren Buffett said, they're paying 17% or 18%, which is the capital gains tax.
Well, the real fair rate would be the original 91% tax rate of FDR, Truman, and Eisenhower.
That would be. But the point is that Herman Cain wants to drop that 35% to 9% for those guys. So what is that?
What a greedy whore he is.
Well, and the 9% for the sales tax. Why, in Jersey here, we're only paying 7. So he's going to up it up to 9.
Now, Herman Cain, is that the pastor?
That's the black gentleman, Mr. Godfather's Pizza, who laid off a whole bunch of people.
He owns Godfather's Pizza?
Not anymore.
So he is doing, his way of thinking and his actions are completely different traditionally from most African Americans.
Yeah, what he told the African Americans that they were brainwashed for voting for Democrats.
Okay, and I suppose African Americans voting for a right-wing conservatives is in their best interest.
According to Herman Cain.
And I say the same thing to the Latino community. It's not in their best interest to vote for a Republican, and it's not in the best interest of gays or women or any minority.
That would seem logical. Logical.
It's not in their best interest. Not even for white middle-class Americans, it's not in your best interest to vote for Republicans. But I guess those people are more concerned with their crazy zealot, religious nut, holy roller ideology.
I see the picture here that Herman Cain has got the flag lapel, and then he's got some other little lapel thingy on his jacket.
He has sort of a David Dinkins look about him. Right? Sort of. It's got like a pencil thing.
Tell you the truth, I'm not too remembering David Dinkins too much.
Well, I know he was soft on crime.
Wasn't he a one-termer? Did he only get one term?
Yeah, one term. He was like a medium-skinned, slender, older man. He was soft on crime because when David Deakins was mayor of New York, all the aggressive panhandlers, squeegee people, all the hookers, everybody, all the negative aspects of New York was on the streets and doing their thing, bothering people. And then when Giuliani came in with, I think, Commissioner Bratton, they cleaned house. And that's when 42nd Street, Times Square became family-oriented, and he cleaned up, and the police, he had the...
and that's when the economy went bad?
Where, during Giuliani?
Well, after those things, because, you know, they cleaned up 42nd Street, etc. That's a lot of businesses were put out of business. So how the hell do you improve the economy?
Well, they were changed.
By doing things
there were
like that.
Different businesses took over, you know, more retail. You know, rip-off retail establishments, you know, for the tourists.
That sounds like Christie and Walker and the other governors, right-wing governors. Oh, well, if we lay off or fire firemen, policemen, teachers, because they're on a government salary, that we're helping the economy. So how does it help the economy if you put a bunch of other people out of business and you get other businesses in there?
Well, if you don't...
At the best, what does it do? Equilibrium. At the worst, you got less business.
Well, my take is if you cut the police force in all ways and fire department, then I'm going to take a wild guess that crime will accelerate, will go up, and it would encourage less tourism to any given American city than more tourism, and less businesses will want to move into the city, the inner cities. So
well, what they're doing in some states is that they are allowing prisoners to fight fires to save money.
How? To piss on them? To urinate on them? How are they going to fight fires?
I would assume that when you do that, you probably need to hire
this is funny.
Private contractors to keep watch on them more than you have your guards.
This is a worse fiasco than the privatization of the Iraq War, with privatized companies providing military supplies to the troops, which they totally screwed up on. This is much worse. Having ex-cons or prisoners, I say,
actual
fight
prisoners.
fires.
Fight fires.
Why should they care if they're in prison?
That's for sure.
Hey, listen. Even if, let's say, I was them, and let's say I was out on parole, or let's say I did my time and I was out, and I was stuck with some lousy, stinking minimum wage job with no benefits. And I had no choice because nobody else would give me a good job. Even in that situation, forget about firefighting. I wouldn't give a shit about the quality of my work if I'm getting a lousy $5 and what's the minimum?
I think it's $7.25.
Oh, it's $7.25. Well, in this day and age, it's still chicken feed. I wouldn't
chicken
care.
Feed.
I would just barely get by the skin of my nose. Why should I bust my ass for chicken feed? Fuck the corporations.
If the actual minimum wage kept up with the actual inflation rate, it should be around $20 or $25.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that, Dr. Bill. So what you're trying to say is, in reality, if the minimum wage was fair and equal to the cost of living in America today, in 2011, it would be over $20 an hour?
Yeah.
You see? You see the crumbs that you're getting? Because, from like my grandfather says, if you vote for a Democrat from the two-party system, you will get a few crumbs, which is the $7 and change an hour. Okay? It's crumbs. If you vote for a Republican, you will get absolutely nothing. And he was very smart when he was alive, but God rest his soul, and he said many wise things. He also said that Republicans are fascist right-wing reactionaries, and that the Republicans were all for the rich. And he told me this when I was a kid. And my Uncle Phil, who was conservative Republican, said to me, "Don't listen to your grandfather. Don't pay attention to him. He's a pinko commie." Name calling. That's what they do.
Anyway, Kane proposes to scrap the current tax code and replace it with a flat 9% tax on personal income, a second 9% tax on corporate income, and a third 9% tax on sales. It also would eliminate the payroll tax, which funds Medicare and Social Security. Now, if you're going to eliminate the payroll tax, you're eliminating Social Security!
So what are people supposed to do if they're middle class or low income and they retire and they don't have, they can't afford, they don't have surplus income to save for a retirement nest egg?
They do what they did before 1935. They die or live in poverty in their old golden years.
My grandfather used to tell me that the poor, when they died, they got buried at a place called Potter's Field.
Yeah.
Potter's Field.
Pauper's grave or something.
Pauper's grave. So they perish.
Yeah.
So what's so great about free market what's so great about capitalism then? If you're poor and you end up starving and die.
Because
what's so great about
capitalism?
Please tell me.
Is it takes care of the top 30%. That's what's so good about it.
So what you're saying is, Reverend Dr. William J. Eisman, is Old Glory, Yankee Doodle Dandy, is only for the rich and not for the little guy.
They make believe it is, though, and he believes it.
You mean through conservative propaganda and lies?
Yeah.
Oh.
While the Kane campaign has not produced enough details for thorough independent analysis,
I'm going to open this.
A flat 9% income tax and a 9% national sales tax would almost certainly mean higher taxes for at least the 30 million U.S. households that now pay no federal taxes. And it almost certainly would mean big tax cuts for the wealthy,
Yeah.
who now pay a 35% marginal rate on their income above $379,150.
Uh-huh.
See, below that, they're not paying that 35%. Even above that, they're not paying it because they got all kinds of loopholes.
Excuse me. Yeah.
So the rich never pay that rate.
Right.
The catchy 9 tax plan has helped the former Godfather's Pizza CEO surge into the top tier, contending for the 2012 Republican presidential nomination.
Oh, he's the CEO.
He was.
He's a man after Satan's own heart. He was the CEO. No wonder he's Republican.
And either he sold to Pillsbury or Pillsbury got in there somehow.
Yeah.
And before, I think it was before he sold to Pillsbury, to make the company seem lean and mean and providing big profits, he laid off or fired a lot of people.
Oh, that's another thing he did, huh? That's another
job creator.
That's another thing that corporate American CEOs say to make laying off people and eliminating departments in a positive light. They use the term, we have become lean and mean, and instead of downsizing, they call it right-sizing. It's all bullshit.
Well, it's to boost the stock price. That's what it's all about.
You know, and then like my sister, where she works, her desk, unfortunately, is not far from the president's desk, and he got upset because employees stopped by her desk and complain about the fact that they have to do the job of a few people, and they keep on cutting the workforce and laying people off, and everybody has to multitask and do the job of several people, and people are totally up to here with it. And so he gets mad and says it's bad for morale.
Yeah.
Of course, So my sister says, hey, it's bad for morale that you're making people do the job of several individuals, several workers that people have to bust their ass. That's bad for morale.
There was some time ago, I think it involved Waste Management Company and the CEO, and he went undercover.
Undercover
as a worker.
Oh, that program that's on. I think it's on channel. It's on CBS. Undercover Boss. It's either on
something like that.
It's either CBS or NBC. I think it's called Undercover Boss.
And
hold on for a second. Esmeralda, the show is called Undercover Boss?
Yeah.
Undercover Boss. Okay, thank you. That was the personal assistant of the Wizard Azibuko, Esmeralda. It's called Undercover Boss.
Yeah, well, in any event, this particular CEO didn't understand anything that was going on with the workers. He knew nothing.
Right.
Nothing. About, Anyway,
back to the
with support rising, Kane's plan is drawing more scrutiny, with the potential shift of the tax burden just one of the profound effects the dramatic change in tax policy could have. If Kane were elected and managed somehow to get it past an army of lobbyists and through Congress, the changes in income taxes would turn away from the progressive tax policy that shaped U.S. policy for a century. Based on the principle that the wealthier people are, the more they can afford to pay in taxes to the society that enriched them. The plan could be expected to raise substantial amounts of revenue, but does so largely by skewing downwards the distribution of tax burdens, said new analysis of the Kane plan by Edward D. Kleinbard, a professor of tax law at the University of Southern California. He's also a former chief of staff at the Congressional Joint Committee on Taxation, which analyzes all tax legislation for Congress. Kane has insisted it would not hurt poorer Americans, in large part because he would eliminate the payroll tax. But nearly 30 million households, about 18%, pay neither income taxes nor the FICA payroll tax. So most would pay more, perhaps much more. People with lower incomes also would pay a disproportionate share of their income in sales taxes because they spend much more of their income on retail goods.
That's right.
And wealthier Americans could pay lower taxes. First, there would be no taxes on capital gains or large estates. Second, all income after deductions would be taxed at 9%.
Very good article. Very good article.
Might be able to get one more in here before.
One that's not terribly long.
Not
I
terribly.
decided to go au naturel back here. Is the flag waving? Because it's very windy outside. All right, looks good. Anyway.
2 Republican presidential candidates refused to say Sunday whether they believe Mitt Romney, a Mormon, is a Christian, while a third said he does not agree with a Texas pastor who called the religion a cult.
Well, look at the Osmond family. Marie Osmond's gay son committed suicide, and I have a feeling that they did not accept him. They made him feel horrible because they're right-wing fundamentalists, right? Generally.
Well, they're Mormons.
They're Mormons,
Yeah. Businessman Herman Cain and Representative Michelle Bachmann of Minnesota declined to answer questions about Romney's Mormon religion. He's a Mormon. That much I know, Kane said. I am not going to do an analysis of Mormonism versus Christianity
Mormonism?
for the sake of answering that.
Mormonism. Like it's a separate religion? That's how he
Bachman called the issue a distraction. I think what the real focus is here is on religious tolerance. That's really what this is about. To make this a big issue is ridiculous right now. Because every day I'm on the street talking to people, this is not what people are talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Former Senator Rick Santorum of Pennsylvania, who runs in the GOP presidential campaign as a social conservative, was more direct, saying, as Texas Governor Rick Perry did on Friday, that he does not consider Mormonism a cult. I'm not an expert on Mormonism. All I know is that every Mormon I know is a good and decent person.
Well, sure he has to say that because he wants to vote.
How about those Mormons that, rape the children, marry 1,800 of them, etc.?
You mean
1,800 wives?
commit, what do you call it, bigamy?
Bigamy, yeah.
Bigamy?
And marry the kids when they're young. They don't know what
Minors.
they're doing. You're minors.
You mean having sex
These
with...
all good persons?
Having sex with minors, yeah. Yeah, good people, right.
Yeah. But when asked if he believed Romney is a true Christian, Santorum spoke somewhat haltingly. Mitt Romney is a true, he says, he's a Christian. I believe, he said, Christian.
I don't think they are. If you're a conservative, right-winger Republican, and you follow the beliefs of your political ideology, and obviously they do not know the God of the Bible.
Well, to be a Christian.
In what they say. So how can they be Christians, really?
Correct. To be a Christian is to follow and do what Jesus said to you. So obviously they don't do that.
Yeah, well, what about the rest of the Bible? What about the Old Testament? They don't... A lot of the things they profess and believe in are very un-Christian.
Yeah.
So therefore, how can they be Christian if they do not represent what's in the Bible? They go contrary to what's in the Bible, and they try to rewrite the Bible. And for those of you that are not familiar with rewriting the Bible, just read the last chapter in the book of Revelations, the very end.
22.
Chapter 22?
22, yeah.
Revelation 22?
Yep.
And God makes it very clear about adding to or taking away from the Bible. So anyway.
In Romney's 2008 campaign, Mormons said they felt maligned by claims they are not Christian. The scriptures used by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints include the Old and New Testaments and sacred books that contain the revelations of their 19th century founder, Joseph Smith. The recent questions about Romney's religion surfaced on Friday after a Baptist pastor told reporters after introducing Perry at a forum that Romney is not a Christian. Robert Jeffress, who made similar comments in 2008, also told reporters that Mormonism is a cult. So he doesn't particularly care for it.
Inter-Republican squabbles concerning religion have no interest to me because they're all counterfeit Christians, and that's that. But
they go by their tradition. They do not go by what Jesus said.
No, their ideology is false. It is the white horse of the apocalypse, the false religion, the false
shall
church.
Abound in the end time.
And who is the father of all lies?
He was just here.
I know.
He was here before.
He was just here because his ears are always ringing because of all the work that not only...
I guess that's why his face is red.
Yeah, he's pissed off. All the good work that we do here in Newsletter Censored and Progressive Discussions, we broadcast via live stream, and we're very proud of it. Plus, the Occupy Wall Street movement. No wonder he's upset and pissed off. Anyway, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman must partake in his gastronomic delight known as lunch, followed by high green tea. Gotta take a break. We're back. It's getting rather breezy out there, which is very refreshing to say the least. Time for promo. I already said that. This gentleman next to me, this jabroni right over here, you see him? Excuse me. This is a self-portrait of my co-host and mentor, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. The Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman is a fine watercolor artist, and this is a self-portrait of him done with watercolors, watercolor paints. You can view the William J. Eisenman collection by going to the William J. Eisenman Facebook profile or going to newslettercensor.com. And if you see something you like, send him an email to see if it's still available. And the bidding starts at $500 each. The William J. Eisenman collection. You can also see the William J. Eisenman collection in its entirety, even though he did paint one more new painting, which I really should show you. Where is it located? The new painting?
Packaged up.
Oh, it's ready to be shipped out. Anyway, it's on the Facebook profile, William J. Eisenman. But anyway, there is a William J. Eisenman collection. It is a slideshow video to music, to Caribbean steel drum music on the internet. So go to YouTube and type in William J. Eisenman collection, and you'll see all of his work, except one. You know, there's no sense of remaking it just because he has one more new painting. I should really wait until he has several more new paintings and then remake it. It only makes sense.
You can't add them one by one?
No, it has to be redone.
Oh.
I mean, it's added to your folder, your album folder.
I mean, you just add one and add
But
one.
no, you can't do it to a video that's already produced. You can't. But it's no biggie. I mean, it's in your... I mean, to make it, it's a snap. Anyway, William J. Eisenman collection of fine watercolor art. The Megalife 21 MySpace profile is terminated because, honestly, even though they allow my animations to be seen, the animations work on the MySpace profile. The MySpace profile does not allow us to place any video code, no flash, macromedia, no playlist, no videos will be accepted from YouTube on MySpace any longer. And there is more annoying, obnoxious spam and advertisement than ever before on MySpace. It is unbearable. There's nothing but spam and promos. There's nothing but spam in my inbox. There's now, what do you call the advertisement that floats by your very eyes and you're trying to get rid of? Huh?
A banner.
A floating banner. Now there's floating banners. There's advertisements to the right, on top, down below, every which way. Advertisements, more than ever. You know what? And then they ask you why you're canceling, why you're terminating your account.
I hope you told them.
You better believe I told them. You better believe I told them. See, Facebook, it's not fancy. It's very simple. But people can access it from their smartphones, which is one of the primary reasons why that jabroni, that eagle beak, big nose jabroni, Mark Zuckerberg, who changed Facebook and made it more complex. I liked it the way it was. That was one of the selling points, I suppose, on Facebook. You can access it from your smartphone. It's simple. It doesn't accept animations, but you can put, you can place a video on it from the URL, but you cannot upload a large video. Like, if you upload a video, it can only be a certain size. Like if it's 10, 15, 20 minutes, it should be fine. If it's large, like our videos, they won't let you upload it, but they will let you put the URL from the internet, from YouTube, and you can still view the video on your Facebook profile. So that's it. That's all we need. Facebook. No more MySpace. Anyway, the backbone of our organization, founded in 1977 by my co-host and mentor, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, censored. The real hard-hitting truth, okay, containing the 5 taboos of American life, which is politics, religion, health, human sexuality, and child rearing. There is more information in the newsletter than there is on our talk show or on our websites. This is the type of information that most people are afraid to hear. Can you handle it? So what you need to do is go to newslettercensored.com, read all of the hard-hitting information on the website, click on the printable order form, and with your gift to support this work, get your free annual subscription to Newsletter Censored. This is a brand new issue, number 117, titled The Devil's Economics. I know Satan was pretty happy that you named this with his name on it. He's really flustered, I bet. But anyway, this is it. After The Devil's Economics, if there's room, you'll have tidbits, which is current news topics, but in this case, there's no room.
We have a letter.
But there's that letter from that jabroni, that individual.
A gentleman who wanted some clarification.
Okay. A guy who wanted honest clarification. And then it's followed by The God Project by William J. Eisenman, Doctor of Divinity, and this is titled Behemoth. All right? And the God Project will teach you what the Bible really says, not what holy roller, right-wing fundamentalists, counterfeit Christian, right-wing, conservatives tell you what the Bible says. This is what the Bible really has to say. And you can listen to what the Bible really says on our Mega Life 21 hard-hitting internet talk radio station, which the link is on Newsletter Censored at the top of the page, .com, Newsletter Censored, and it's also on the Mega Life 21 Newsletter Censored Facebook page. And that starts at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday. So tomorrow you can listen to what the Bible really says. Now today is Holistic Health Talk. Before we just called it Health Talk. Now I decided to call it Holistic Health Talk. Why? Because I don't want to confuse the words health talk with something that a conventional, traditional, drug-pushing, allopathic medical doctors would consider health talk. I don't want to confuse it with a pharmaceutical industry physician's version of health talk, or American Dietetic Association's version of health talk, or what the FDA thinks health talk is all about. I want to make sure that nutrition, fitness, alternative medicine is connected with the health talk. So therefore, it is now Holistic Health Talk. Last but not least, Sexuality, a Holistic Approach by William J. Eisenman, Ph.D. All right. That is it. That is the end of promo. Let me make myself a little bit useful here. Okay, back to the articles.
Evidence is mounting that taking vitamin E pills can be risky.
You know, speak of the devil. I was just talking about holistic health talk and vitamins, vitamin therapy, and all this stuff. And here he whips out a nutrition article that really pissed me off because I saw it on the news all week.
Well, you know, we several months ago we said that this was going to happen.
Propaganda from the pharmaceutical industry, the greedy drug companies, and the FDA in cahoots with them, in bed with them, and the poisonous, toxic American food industry. Perhaps do we see an unholy alliance?
I believe it was several years, Mr. Gary Null did a little study, and of course there was none, nada deaths from vitamins. You know how many people died from aspirin this year?
And pharmaceutical drugs?
No, just aspirin.
Just aspirin alone, how many?
That's right. 27,000.
Now, why does the media, who is supposed to be like unbiased and impartial, why don't they give both sides of the story instead of the lies? It's just like that guy from the media who was at the Wall Street protest area, and he was trying to play the middle of the fence like Bill Clinton was on David Letterman, and he was trying to say, he didn't want to be all one-sided. So he defended the protesters, but then again he bashed the protesters. Now in this case, the media seems to be completely on the side of pharmaceutical industry crap and American dietetic crap, FDA crap, propaganda, and drug-pushing doctors. The media is always on the side of the drug-pushing doctor.
The orthodox.
Orthodoxy. Allopath. Is that the correct word, allopath?
Yeah.
Okay.
A study that followed up on men who took high doses of the vitamin for about 5 years found they had a slightly increased risk of prostate cancer even after they quit taking the pills. Doctors say it's another sign that people should be careful about using vitamins and other supplements. People tend to think of vitamins as innocuous substances, almost like chicken soup. Take a little, it can't hurt, said lead author Dr. Eric Klein of the Cleveland Clinic. The study shows that this is not true. If you have normal levels, the vitamin is probably of no benefit. If you take too much, you can be harmed, Klein said. Men randomly assigned to take a 400-unit capsule of vitamin E,
which is the recommended safe amount,
every day,
optimally, yes,
for about 5 years, were 17% more likely to get prostate cancer than those given dummy pills.
Lies. Maybe this is the synthetic vitamin E.
It could even be that.
DL alpha tocopherol, not D.
YL.
Yeah, with a Y, not D alpha tocopherol.
Yeah.
DL alpha.
But the whole thing is flawed anyway because it had it didn't take into account anything else but that.
They didn't even bother to ask the
Diet.
The Shoot Institute.
Smoking.
In Canada, yeah.
The whole rigmarole.
Who are the foremost authorities on vitamin E? Dr. Wilfred Shute of Canada, yeah.
Yeah. Because that's not what they want. They just want the propaganda out there with big credentials behind it, and then the poor people have no other access to information to pit against that, and because eventually they want to do what Europe did. You can't have vitamins that are higher than what's the RDA today? There's another
it's pitiful. It's microscopic.
Yeah, well, that's all. You have to get a prescription to get better doses. Over in Europe, they want that here too. And besides, the vitamins compete with the drug companies. They don't like that. It's okay to be on all kinds of drugs that have all kinds of side effects. But vitamins, oh my God, that's not good. The dose commonly found in over-the-counter supplements is almost 20 times higher than the recommended adult amount, which is about 23 units daily. See, 23 units, nothing.
I thought it was
Garbage.
I thought the RDA for vitamin E was 30 international
I think
units.
that's 60. 60 for
60 is for vitamin
C,
C, which is a joke.
It's absolutely
60
a joke.
60 milligrams of ascorbic acid is what the recommended daily allowance determined by the National Academy of Science. Science! The National Academy of Science, Dr. Bill.
Yeah.
60 milligrams. I say these amounts are deliberately made extra low and microscopic so you do not have any positive effect to stay healthy and your immune system. Yeah.
If a person starts understanding that you need higher amounts, then the old argument about, well, you can get what you need from your food goes out the window. And also, vitamins, homeopathics, things of this nature are dose regulated.
Yeah.
You don't get the therapeutic response you're looking for unless you have a certain dose.
Like formulas, for instance.
Yeah.
Formulas are very popular in America because they sell. They look enticing because they advertise to be all inclusive, comprehensive, the formula. But the doses of the formula are probably okay for health maintenance, but not as a therapeutic dosage.
Right.
You need mega vitamin, you need mega doses to deal with afflictions, with illness.
The results mean for every 1,000 men who took vitamin E, there were 11 additional cases of prostate cancer, compared with men taking dummy pills.
Yeah, placebo?
Yeah. The study was launched to try to confirm less rigorous research suggesting vitamin E might protect against prostate cancer. Overall, about 160 of every 1,000 U.S. men will develop prostate cancer. Risk increase as men age. Detection can be tricky, since symptoms such as frequent urination can also be caused by harmless conditions. The doctors disagree about the benefits of screening tests. Treatment is also complex, since some slow-growing prostate cancers are not deadly, but some procedures, including surgery, can damage sexual function and cause incontinence. Dr. Otis Brawley, Chief Medical Officer for the American Cancer Society, said, "Vitamin E users should stop taking large doses and talk to their doctors about risks and benefits from prostate cancer screening. Smaller doses typically found in multivitamins are probably fine," said Brawley, who was not involved in the research. Vitamin E is found in foods such as nuts, seeds, and vegetable oils.
Cold pressed, natural, not
the crap
cold
that's on
pressed vegetable oil, not chemical extracted.
Yeah,
Let me know when that article's done. Very, very good article. A Health Talk article, right?
Yeah.
I mean, very appropriate for Health Talk. But I have tons of Health Talk readings to do. I am way behind because I haven't done a Health Talk in a long time. But there's something I need to say, which is part of the second half of the title of this show. I'm a little disappointed, but it doesn't surprise me. I'm sure Satan is happy about it. Remember Mr. Al Franken? I guess he was a former Saturday Night Live writer. Well, anyway, he became a progressive liberal activist and had a syndicated nationwide talk show on Air America. And every day He would bash conservatives like Rush Limbaugh and all of them really, and he wrote many books bashing conservatives, bashing Republicans. A very loyal liberal. Senator Al Franken, when he became Senator Al Franken for the state of Minnesota, which I assume is his home state, he suddenly dummied up. The Democrat dummied up, and no one has heard from him since, and he does not get in front of a media camera to defend progressive liberals and to tell the truth and bash conservatives and tell the real hard-hitting truth. No one has heard from him. Then lo and behold, my partner here and mentor, Dr. Bill, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, told me that Senator Al Franken voted for the extension of the Bush tax cuts for the rich.
Yes.
He voted to approve to extend the Bush tax cuts, and this is very different from all the things he said in his book and on his talk show. Now, did Obama reluctantly sign it and approve it, or did he approve it right off the bat?
It seemed that he was willing right off the bat to give in to the Republicans to do that.
You see what I mean? You see what I mean about the... Sometimes I wonder, is the bipartisanship and compromising of
It's
Democrats...
only on one side.
Huh?
It's only on one side.
But do they do it because they have this psychological defect to be loved and approved and accepted by the Republicans, or do they do it because the fat cats pay them off?
Well, that's always in whatever bill is up for vote. But the thing of it is, the Democrats have this illusion that they are governing, which they want to govern. The Republicans do not want to govern.
Yeah.
That's not their... When they go to Washington, they are not going there to govern. They're going there to put their people into agencies and everything that will sabotage those agencies.
Even though Chris Christie stated that he is here to govern, whether people like it or not. He used the word govern, but anyway, that's besides the point. Yeah. Did Nancy Pelosi vote for the Bush tax cut extension?
I can't say personally, but I believe yes, they did. They all did.
They sold you out. They sold out the voters, the poor, the middle class, the progressive voters. The Democrats have sold you out. Al Franken is proof of it. Shame on you, Al Franken. To say the least, that's putting it mildly. Shame on you. Yeah. Shame on the two-party system. That's the problem.
Yeah.
The money is in politics in the two-party system.
Right. And at this time, because getting the money out is going to be a big problem. Big problem.
It's human nature is a problem.
Well, so at this time, the only way to get the money out of politics is to do what it says on the website, Dr. Bill for President.
That's right.
Learn to write in a candidate.
On newslettercensored.com, under Dr. Bill for President, yes, you heard it right. My co-host and mentor, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, the founder of Newsletter Censored in 1977, for the third time, is running again. He has thrown in his cowboy hat to run again, but...
Not a 10-gallon one, but, you know.
No, it is... the main thing is that... The important thing is that in order to get rid of the corruption, the greed, the wickedness of politics, we need to take the money out of politics, and it begins by learning how to write in a candidate. And if you want details, go to newslettercensored.com. All right, continue with the article.
Big Bend has a little bend. Experts say the neo-Gothic clock tower, one of the world's recognizable landmarks, is gently leaning to one side.
London? Yeah. So the Leaning Tower of Big Ben.
Big Ben. Documents recently published by Britain's Parliament show that the top of its gilded spire is nearly 18 inches out of line. The 315-foot tower is leaning to the northwest at an angle of 0.26 degrees.
How about the base, the foundation of the building?
Seems firm.
Okay.
But there's no cause for alarm. It would take thousands of years before the London landmark's tilt matches that of the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Yeah, thousands of years. Let me tell you, when the Great Tribulation comes, which won't be thousands of years from now, there won't be any Buckingham Palace or Big Ben.
The clock tower, colloquially known as Big Ben, after its massive bell, has been slightly off-center since it was completed in 1859.
That's not to be confused with the bell that Quasimodo rang. Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Make Marie.
Hey, maybe that's the sound of the political speechwriters for Michelle Bachmann and Rick Perry and the rest of them. Maybe that's how they sound. Let me tell you what to say at this political event.
Like many old buildings, its position has been shifting imperceptibly for years due to environmental factors such as seasonal temperature and moisture level changes. The tilt might now be just about visible to the naked eye. Anyone who stands there and looks may say, "I don't think it's vertical," and they are right. The level of movement has been less than 1 millimeter a year since experts began measuring it in the 1970s. In the 1990s, the construction of a London Underground line affected the clock tower's foundations and added a small amount of movement to that natural shift.
Okay.
So Big Ben is shifting.
Poor Big Ben. So, what do we got here? What's next?
Many of the super wealthy and big corporations do not want to pay taxes.
Oh, I like this article.
They disdainfully foist their fair share on those who are least able to pay. But where do most of our taxes go? They go for the Pentagon budget. Our government deceptively says only 20% goes for military spending.
Bullshit.
However, the Center for Defense Information reports 51% goes for the military. The Friends Committee on National Legislation reports 43%. And the War Resisters League reports 54%.
Wow.
18% for past wars and 36% for present conflicts.
War profiteering, huh?
Any way you look at it, a huge portion of taxes goes for military spending that exceeds what any other nation or group of nations pays. I ask myself that question all the time when I read these figures. Who is the United States afraid of?
Yeah, no one has threatened our borders, you know, as far as national security goes. We're not... When has the United States been under threat of invasion? Really, in the history since 1776, after the War of 1812, which
by the way is on PBS.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's Francis Scott Key with the stupid words to that song he wrote.
Oh, say can you...
What is yet et wave? What the fuck is yet et?
It's not yet et.
That flag yet et wave?
Yeah, does our flag... No, does it? I gotta sing the whole damn thing.
Oh, no, don't sing it. Don't sing it. Don't sing it. Don't sing it. Anyway.
Where was I?
Yet et wave.
Any way you look at it, a huge portion of taxes goes for military spending that exceeds, I read that, what any other nation or group pays. A major function of government is to provide protection. Those who have the most property and money get the most protection. It is only fair that they pay higher taxes. Yet there are many ways of avoiding that responsibility. The TV program 60 Minutes. Major corporations locate their headquarters overseas and pay lower taxes to the countries they're in. But our government pays to protect the very nations these corporations take refuge in. In other words, this powerful branch of the right wing refuses to pay for its own defense. If we had a military draft, we would be justified in calling them draft dodgers. You know, I read, I see people, always trying to make an excuse.
Yeah.
Why those with the most money do not pay the higher taxes. When that's how the constitutional amendment reads.
Well, it's the only fair way to do it.
Of course.
If you don't want to pay more taxes, don't make so much money.
Of course.
It's simple math, like Obama said in his last speech.
Yeah.
He was talking about simple mathematics.
Not class war, it's math.
It's simple, basic bookkeeping, for God's sake.
And it's also history.
Debits and credits, huh?
It's also history, because history shows that when the marginal rates were high, the economy did very, very well.
I'm still scratching my head to trying to figure out why.
Maybe you got cooties.
No, I'm a very fastidious and clean person. I am very squeaky clean.
Squeaky.
I clean and rinse thoroughly every nook and cranny of my body. Anyway, that's another show. Why hasn't our career politicians in Washington, how come nobody steps forward and really tells the fat cat elitists and corporate CEOs to just go fuck themselves?
Because they're being paid by those big fat people.
So this is what you're talking about by the money being in politics.
Right.
Political corruption. The money is in politics.
It determines what you do.
So people have to get it through their thick heads that the two-party system, even the Democrats, are not for you. They're corporatists. They're business people. Otherwise, why would Bill Clinton sound the way he sounded when he was on the David Letterman show? You know, kind of sympathizing with Republican Mayor Bloomberg and sympathizing a little bit with the cops and criticizing the protesters. Mm-hmm. Right? Why would Hillary Clinton try to force?
What's behind all of that stuff is let's leave things alone. Let's leave things alone. We don't want to change.
But he sounded.
Capitalism is great. It's our religion.
And he sounded like your typical Democrat. Compromise, bipartisanship, compromise. Meanwhile, the Republicans roll up their sleeves, get ready to fight dirty, and do fight dirty, with no scientific evidence to back them up.
Yeah, this Congress...
With their ideology, get down and dirty. They're ready to get down and dirty and underhanded. But the Democrats still want to fight fair, and they want to be liked and loved, and I think they want the Republicans to say, you know what, those Democrats...
That sounds like the right thing. Let's do it.
They're a bunch of nice guys and gals. You know what? Yeah, let's be their friend. Let's invite them to lunch. Let's all have lunch together, which they probably do.
Oh, sure.
With lobbyists, right?
Yeah.
With lobbyists.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't know.
Speaking of your favorite governor,
I know what he's going to say.
Governor Christie vetoed legislation late on Friday that would have required New Jersey to remain in a 10-state program to reduce greenhouse emissions, a program Christie had previously called a failure.
He doesn't want to reduce greenhouse emissions because Republicans don't believe that that there's holes in the ozone layer. They don't believe in global warming. They don't believe in environmental issues. They don't care about corporations dumping their toxins in rivers and oceans because they don't believe that, what did you say, the best way to prevent pollution is dilution?
Dilution, yeah, they still believe in that.
And they think that...
That's why there's dead zones in the oceans.
Oh yeah, you know, I mean, the red.
How did
what
they
is
get
it?
there?
Red tide. The red tide. Coral reefs endangered. Dead fish. Dead whales and dolphins being washed up. But
dying reefs, yeah, dying reefs.
But you know, that's not important to the Republicans because what's important to them is profit before the planet, before animals.
And of course, the religious nuts believe that Jesus is going to come back and he's going to make everything well.
Oh, but speaking of religious nuts, they had a documentary about all of the famous cultists that told their people to commit suicide.
Nice.
Every one of them, including Marshall Applewhite.
The Nike guy.
The one with the eyes popping out like this, with the big smile. Marshall Applewhite of Heaven's Gate. By the way, the website is still there with his photo. But he died, right? Marshall Applewhite.
They all croaked. They were waiting for the mothership. Come and pick them up, man.
Yeah.
In their Nikes.
In the Nikes, the mothership, UFOs, you know.
Yeah.
Well, the other one, David Koresh, he's the one that partook in all the young females in his flock, right?
Well, that's what they say.
David Koresh.
They never actually proved that, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure they all did. Anyway, what do we got?
Christie announced in May that the state would withdraw at year's end from the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, saying the program had not changed behavior or reduced greenhouse gas emissions, but that it had raised the cost of electricity for state residents and businesses. In late June, the legislature tried to force Christie's hand by passing a clutch of bills that would have required him to keep New Jersey in the program. And one of the bill's key sponsors said Saturday that he would now push for a legislative override of Christie's veto. Governor Christie's veto of our measure is a giant step backwards in our march toward a clean energy economy and the creation of thousands of clean jobs. Environmentalists also blasted Christie's veto. Leaving RGGI will cause New Jersey to lose jobs and increase pollution in New Jersey's air. The governor continues to move to the right and appease corporate polluters and the Tea Party to promote his national political profile. RGGI is a cap-and-trade program that requires utilities in the 10 participating states to purchase credits for each ton of carbon they emit. The credits are sold through public auctions, and the states use the revenues to pay for programs designed to promote renewable energy and clean energy technology. In his veto message, Christie said he acknowledges that the levels of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases in our atmosphere are increasing, that climate change is real, that human activity plays a role in these changes, and that these changes are impacting our state. But, he added, I simply disagree that RGGI is an effective mechanism for addressing global warming. He said the program did not change energy producers' behavior. Instead, he said, RGGI does nothing more than impose a tax on electricity. Moreover, it creates an unlevel playing field for our resident businesses that must compete from the fourth highest energy cost state in the country. Business and conservative groups have pressed for New Jersey to leave RGGI, saying it drives up energy rates because utilities pass along the cost of their carbon credits to customers. The auctions have earned the states a combined $886 million so far, and New Jersey has received $106 million of that. Christie took $65 million in RGGI auction money last year to help balance the state budget, while at least $30 million has been used for its intended purpose in the form of grants for 12 large-scale renewable energy projects.
That's that. I hope Chris Christie wisely spends the money he recently got from Obama for Homeland Security. I heard he got some money from the federal government for to fight terrorism.
Wow.
I hope he doesn't turn around and hand it over to ExxonMobil or some corporation. I don't know, man. That guy's wicked. I'm sure that Satan dude that dropped in before must really love Chris Christie. He's got a lot of fans, though. A lot of fools out there.
Oh yeah.
Americans are really. What's that old saying that my grandfather used to say? They cut their nose off to spite their face.
Oh yeah. That's a goodie.
And he used to say, to people, you are your own worst enemy.
He was a sage.
Penny wise and pound foolish would be good also to describe right-wingers, right-wing conservatives, because they look short-term, they don't look long-term.
Yeah.
How much can I save now? How much money can I make now? How much can I screw people over now? With deregulation, of course, they love that. Deregulation is how corporations screw the consumer. So what do we got here for one last article? Do we have a good one?
Oh, this is an exciting one. I'm sure you love when I speak about.
Oh no, it's not a snoozer, is it?
Imagine how exciting it would be to find dinosaurs that have been hidden for millions of years.
Oh, I like this article.
I thought you didn't care for dinosaurs.
I never said that dinosaurs were, but I love dinosaurs.
Oh.
I'm a big fan of the Godzilla movies, Toho Productions, since I was a kid. I love lizards. The Gorn, the captain of the Gorn ship on Star Trek. All that good stuff.
But dino discovery is only part of the job.
Yeah.
Recovering the dinosaur fossils is also an important and fun part of the adventure.
What happened to Dino Chicken? They found the DNA of a T-Rex, I think in Montana, and the scientist said he was going to inject it into a fertilized a chicken egg. Dino Chicken? We haven't heard anything about that.
Well, you'll know about it if it escapes.
I want to know. I want play-by-play coverage on Dino Chicken.
Doug Goodrow, Dino Lab Manager at the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County.
That would be a good name for a paleontologist or archaeologist, Doug. Get it? Doug.
Anyway, he said it was exciting to help uncover a dinosaur bone.
Wow,
The fossil you're clearing from the rock might not be unique, a discovery, or a new species, but it's the first time you ever held a T-Rex in your hands. It takes a lot of patience and time and cleaning to get that all finally done, and then you realize what you actually have. Dinosaur workers have to work around the weather. For example, in Montana, workers can dig only during the summer. Otherwise, the area is covered with snow.
Plus, the ground is kind of hard in the winter, isn't it? due to the temperatures.
Also, the earth there is made of clay.
Yeah.
When it's raining, it's so slippery that workers can't even drive an all-terrain vehicle there.
That's true. That's true. All-terrain vehicles, four-wheel drive. When it comes to slipperiness, like on ice,
No good.
unless you have those special snow tires or the ones with the chains around them, like the Russians in the Rocky movie, those KGB agents or whoever they were in Siberia, following Sylvester Stallone and his wife and Paulie around. They had the chains around the tires. Unless you have that,
You ain't going nowhere.
you ain't going anywhere.
It can take workers many seasons to dig up the fossils from one site. They have to dig slowly and carefully to avoid damaging the fossils. Backhoe operators may help remove the rock surrounding some fossils. They know how to go over the specimens without damaging them. In the field, workers dig out the rock holding the dino bones. They wait to remove the bones from the rock until they are back at the lab. It's a big job to remove the bones. For example, a T-Rex pelvis alone might weigh 500 pounds. Its skull could weigh 400 pounds.
Wow.
Workers might pad exposed bones with foil, tissue paper, or paper towels. They form jackets or cocoons made of layers of plaster and burlap around the bones in the rock. Then they tunnel under the jacketed bone. They lift it up with a special machine. They move it out with a backhoe or a truck. A paleontologist studies fossils and ancient life. Many other people work with dinosaur bones. These include artists and welders and plant and rock scientists and environmentalists.
All right, that should do it for this week's progressive discussions. What a wonderful article to end the show with, and so far, no obnoxious jerks in the neighborhood making unnecessary loud noises since I opened the door for au naturel. Unless they do it any second now, you never know. Anyway, thank you for joining us for Progressive Discussions, which will probably be called, more or less, Satan's take on Occupy Wall Street and Al Franken situation. Sells out his voters, something of that effect. We'll see you next time. Say so long.
So long.